Welcome to Root Literacy Designs channel, where we share stories, tips, and tools from current educators successfully implementing the science of reading and structured literacy. Hi everyone, I'm Amy Goldblatt, a current elementary teacher and trainer at Root Literacy Design. Please take a moment to show your support by liking this video and subscribing to Root Literacy Designs channel to help us reach more educators like you. Today we're going to talk about that the letter G says J, like in the word gem. First, I'm going to show my students that I want them to underline the letters that come after G in each word below. So in this column, I see G-O, got. It comes at the end of the word, so frog. G-U, gut. G-R, grasp. In this column, when I see G-E, it says J, J, gent, J, gene, J, gentry, J, digest. G-I says J, like J, gin, J, gist, J, digit, J, giblets. And in this last column, when I see G-Y, it also says J, like in stingy or dingy here. So I want my students to start to notice that when G says J before the letters E, I, or Y, sometimes. Why sometimes? Because it doesn't work all the time. So what sound does G make in these words? This is the word get. So I notice that that E is right there, and yet this makes its hard sound, which is G, like in get. This next word is gift. I see that I there, and it says its hard sound again. So the word is gift. So what I would bring my students' attention to is that I would try to say G says G before E, I, and Y. But if that doesn't sound right, then it would be the other sound in this particular case. Next, I will show you the card drill. So you want your students just to say the letter of the G next to whatever letter it is. So just the sound of the G. So G, 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 G. Which sound does G make in the words below? I want to look right next to the letter G. It says G-U, G, gust. G-E, J, agent. G-E, J, gene. G-E, J, gent. There is nothing after that G, so it says G, rug. G-S, G, bugs. G-E, J, rampage. G-I, J, gist. Okay, now I'm going to teach you how to spell the sound J with a J or a G at the beginning of the word. So we always want to start with saying the word. The word is gem. And I would think, what sound do I hear after the sound J? I hear this eh sound in the second spot. So I know that G says J when it's before E, I, or Y sometimes. So I'd write G-E-M, gem. The next word we're going to try is gist. So always repeat the word gist. Tap the sounds J-I-S. So I want to hear that this is the J, this is that short I sound. And I know that when a G is next to an E, I, or Y, sometimes it can be spelled with a G. So the next sound is I, S, and T. The word is gist. Now what you want to prompt your students to do is that rule only works sometimes. So sometimes you might have your students not know for sure if it's the letter G or the letter J that starts here. So let's go back to the word gem. So you'd have them try it with one spelling, but then if they're unsure, they can always try it with J-E-M. And this is what we call cognitive spelling. So they were to look, and you want them to try both ways to spell it. And if you have them spell gem with G-E-M or J-E-M, the cognitive spelling here is when they look at both of these and they would say, which one is correct? And they should start to notice that when they spell them both next to each other, one of them is certainly the correct spelling. Same with, let's try it again with gist. So this rule using the G next to an E, I, or Y only works sometimes. So you can have your students, you can prompt them to try it both ways. So they can try J-I-S. And again, if they're like, I have no idea, there's totally not sure if it's G-I-S-T or J-I-S-T, the next step would be, so that's cognitive spelling, if they can look at the word and just think about and know what the correct spelling is after doing that step. But if they still have no idea, you can have them prompt them to look it up in a dictionary, or they can certainly ask someone else. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky. Let's try another one. The word is germ. So we would tap it out. So the first one would be G-E-R-M, or you'd want them to try, is it J-E-R-M? And by looking at this, I would want them to circle the correct spelling of the word. The next word is gel. So G-E-L. We want to think, what sound do I hear right after the J? And it's this short E sound. So it's J-E-L. Or if they're like, that could be it sometimes, you can have them say J-E-L. And with cognitive spelling, they should be able to figure out that it's G-E-L.